dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. My love was in ever again. I lay with cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away, but I can promise that you'll never be the same. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. You can double down. I'll still be a proud haven for your love is never love. A river through your bluff, I will be enough, enough, enough. My love was in ever again. I lay with cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away, but I can promise that you'll never be the same. Something you can never take, what is not uncommon to forsake. Got a chronic urge to complicate. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. Feeling I have nothing left to hide. I'll say but you know it when it's right. Keep it simple now, living it before I die. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. My love was in ever again. I lay with cards out on the
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting here with the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series from the Evolution Racing Leagues. As we're here tonight at the Dover International Speedway for their second to last round here in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. And it looks like we might even possibly be crowning a champion here tonight if that number 4 GT Arizari can just get that truck to complete one lap. But we'll have to watch all that unfold. First, we give a shout out to all the sponsors here that make it happen at the Evolution Racing Leagues. And we want to make sure to give a special shout out to Or Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. Make sure to go check them out on their website at www.ornissancentral.com. We also have the proud sponsor of Sheffield Graphics. Sheffield Graphics is the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was found by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great nonprofit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to go check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics. Next, we have ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving physical mass instead of only air like a traditional speaker, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful bass response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to buttkicker.com and see what ButtKicker has in store for you, and you can feel what you've been missing. You can use Freaky Fast 20, and that's Freaky with two E's, to get 20% off on all purchases at buttkicker.com to let them know that we sent you there. So thank you to all the sponsors that make it happen here. We got a special night up here as this is the second to last round, and I believe our champion should be crowned here as it doesn't like there's going to be enough points for these races to have an effect on GT Rosari. But I'm Zach Hall up here in the booth. I got Brandon Collier here ready to call the action with us, and we got Robert Moyer Jr. going to be bringing us all the beautiful camera shots here tonight from the Dover International Speedway. But Brandon here, looks like GT Rosario will possibly bring home that championship as soon as he completes one lap, but we still should see a pretty epic race here for 150 laps at Dover.
Yeah, first, congratulations to GT, and it just goes to show you get consistent finishes. You can clinch up a championship pretty early, and then have one race to go to just kind of have fun. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Dover's a fun track. It's a really challenging track, but if you get it wrong, it's gonna make you pay the price. They don't call it the Monster Mile for nothing.
That they do not. The Monster Mile is known to tear up a car or two, that's for sure. And at the moment, it looks like Curtis Preston sitting on top of that board with a 22-11 here in the qualifying session. And I tell you what, he's looking pretty strong for that Sheffield Graphics Pole Award as qualifying has come to the end. He will be our Sheffield Graphics Pole winner here tonight. But sitting second there is John Willett. He's fighting Michael Sheffield starting in the 10th position here tonight. Only 4 points separating them for that second position here in that championship battle. So those two going to come down to the wire. But we have our starting grid ready to go here tonight from the Dover International Speedway. See where your favorite drivers are starting here for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. Here it is, Curtis Preston bringing home that Sheffield Graphics pole. Second's going to go to John Willett. Third is Travis Everett. Fourth going to be Brendan Biesinger. Fifth, GT Arizari. Sixth, Kel Seaman. Seventh is Chad Biesinger. Eighth, Craig A. Burns. Ninth, Richard Gonzalez. 10th is Michael Sheffield. 11th, Matt Upbrook. And right your field in the 12th position is David Edwards, as that's our field here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. Let's bring up Curtis Preston, our Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight, to let him get a chat here with Brandon Colley and see what his thoughts are in this race before we get it all kicked off. Here is Curtis Preston.
Hey, Curtis, it's Brandon in the booth, bud. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing tonight, Brandon?
Can't complain, man. Gotta say, congratulations on getting the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here at Dover. Man, we know this track can tear you up, beat you down. What do you think the keys are to getting around this place?
Well, just like what you said, this place will chew you up and spit you out. You almost got to have that a Darlington approach where you're racing the track. You know, you're not racing everybody else.
Well, funny you mentioned that, seeing we'll be going there next week. But right now with Dover, man, the key point for this track is up out of the corners and try not to hit the fence. Is it really hairy getting up out of these corners tonight?
Oh yeah, the way the banking flattens out, man, it's real easy to lose it. You think you're good and everything feels great until it don't. You're in the fence. So I'm sure we'll all be on edge with that one tonight.
All right, man. We'll let you get back down there and get ready to kick this thing off. But good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, that was Curtis Preston, your Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. 2 final races to go. Looks like GT Rosario, that number 4 truck, starting in that 5th position. He's going to complete 1 lap, and that's pretty much going to lock him in as he enters here tonight with the 87-point lead. So GT Rosario going to be crowned your 2021 champion here for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series as they come and get ready to take the initial green flag here tonight. And green flag is in the air. We are off and away here for the penultimate round of the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series as Curtis Preston is going to lead us down to 1. Travis Everett making a strong challenge for that 2nd position with Wellette on that outside line. Can the new crown champion of GT Rosario come out here with a winner and cap off this championship with 2 wins?
Be a really strong statement to come out and cinch the championship here, crossing the line now, and then just come out and win the race and say, you know what, I am champion for a reason. As these guys are starting to get single filed out of here, which is really what you want to do.
Single file early here in the going. And I tell you what, we've seen Travis Everett win last week at the Texas Motor Speedway. Looked very strong in that 59. He's up to that 2nd position already. He's going to be one looking to challenge for this win. But I tell you what, teammates at GT Rosario and Curtis Preston are going to have something to say about that.
Well, and just behind that group in 5th position, Brendan Biesinger, he's been coming alive here the last couple races, having a really strong showing. Not quite got the finishes that maybe he wanted out of it, but he's definitely contending as of late.
Yeah, you know, there's weeks where we kind of like, I don't know, just Brendan has kind of struggled, and then there's weeks of just brilliance from that 68 truck. So maybe Dover is going to fit that style of his, and it's going to play to his factor. Because I remember at Iowa, you know, during the season, he was very strong at Iowa. Very, very tough driver, and we'll see if he can capitalize on this good starting position for himself.
Well, I haven't heard anybody state yet that you know, they're not really a big fan of Dover. You know, that's normally a hint that they're going to do quite well in the race. But I know from my experience, coming out here, not really turning much laps, it's a really rewarding track if you just take the time to learn it. You can get pretty good results just being patient, like Curtis said, racing the track. If you know, let everybody else do what they're doing and just manage your own race, you'll get a really good result out of it.
I think this track, more than really almost any track we go to, is more of a management track than almost anyone, because this place has so much banking, so much grip, that you really can charge down into the corners early in the runs with really good tires. But this place will do one thing. It'll chew the tires apart. And if you attack that banking and use all that early grip to your advantage, you're going to go backwards very quickly. You see GT Rosario trying to get to the inside of John Wellette, make that battle known, as he's going to try to take the 3rd position and make it a 1-2-3 for slide job racing. Can't get the run off of 2, but going to see who can manage it as this run continues on, because I tell you what, you can really save a lot of tire running just slower and just managing that grip level, and you'll see them drivers come to the front at some point, and you'll see the drivers who really abuse that tire drop to the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw as John Willett GT got side by side, just how much slower they were running side by side than everybody behind them. They came out of the corner, and the whole line of cars behind them really got a run on them. And you have to be careful running side by side, especially when you're on the outside there, because you try to get back to the gas a little bit sooner to carry that run off down the straightaway. But if you get back to the throttle too soon, that wall comes at you in a hurry, just like that. 68 of Brendan Biesinger into the fence, running that high side, coming out of turn 2.
It just sometimes just feels like it reaches up and grabs you. You get so close to it, and you flirt with it so many times during the night that sooner or later, you get a big old smooch on the side of your right front, and it's not a good smooch.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's and the bad thing is that's you really have to depend on the downforce and the aerodynamics here. It's such a high-speed track that those really come into play. It's only a mile, but it's so fast here that any kind of damage is really going to hurt your pace.
Yeah, that damage is going to do a lot of work on that right front of that truck. Not going to make it want to turn. And you can already see, I mean, he's dropped back 2 positions from there. He's solidified himself right there now in that position of 7th in front of Father Chad Biesinger there in that 23. But I tell you what, the driver I really want to watch for as this race continues on is personally Michael Sheffield. His fastest lap of this race is a 23:29. His fastest lap in his practice run was a 23:19. So one of the fastest cars in practice. Didn't put a qualifying lap in, but I tell you what he's doing right now. He is saving the tires, and at some point, this thing is going to flip a switch, and he's going to be flying.
Well, I think, he's definitely saving, running, like you said, just running slower, conserving his tires. But I think right now he's just giving up so much time. I don't think those that little amount that he's going to save is really going to be able to do too much. Especially, if we get a caution or something, he elects to not take a set of tires. That's not what you want to do. From personal experience here, you're taking tires on a late restart when everybody else decided to not take any. You fly by them like they're standing still. The tire difference is so huge, fresh to old, and he can save a little bit now, maybe have a little bit extra for the long run. A strategy like that's not necessarily going to pay off for you.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Only one set of tires, or two sets of tires in the pits. So they're starting with 3 tonight. Only having 2 sets in the pits, you're gonna have to definitely make the most of your tires. So looking like at most 50 laps on these tires, but you could do upwards of 80. It's just really tough to do. Like you say, he's giving up too much time. I completely agree with that, but I don't think it's a race winning maybe top 3 move, but it may be enough to give him a top 5 possibly, with the way it's gonna work out for him. So you never know. Sheffield's always good at saving, so we'll have to see if Michael Sheffield can make a charge up by running slower lap times right now.
Yeah, and when you pointed this out, it definitely was not surprising me at all. As we see, Trevor Massetti out in chat saying if anybody can save here, it's definitely Michael Sheffield, and it's absolutely correct. You see it week in and week out. He is so good at the long runs. He's such a patient driver, and he likes to try this strategy here of laying back and really saving tires and getting the most out of it in the long run. But I, definitely, like you said, not a race-winning move, but I think he's more so trying to race the 81 of John Willett for that position in points, as we've only got one more race after tonight. I think if he can beat John Willett by any positions, that's as good as a win for that one truck.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, that's probably the goal right now. The final 2 races is to get that 81 in points. Here's looking at Richard Gonzalez go by the 17 and Kel Seaman there as he drops back to that 9th position. As he started in that 6th position, lost about 3 positions. So Dover Tire Works, it's a weird track, man. I've always been a driver that can really qualify here and run a good 30 lap run. But if I wasn't saving from the very start, 30 laps in, you could. I was pretty much waiting for a pit stop at any moment then. So it's a place where I have always had a struggle of just being able to run fast and consistent laps without having to worry about tire wear. So I tell you what, it's a work of art. Some drivers have it figured out, some drivers do not. This place can wear you out.
Yeah, I always favored the position Michael Sheffield. Maybe not quite as aggressive as Sheffield does at trying to save tires here, but I was never quick on short run speed here. I don't like that. We saw before just how quickly that wall come out and grab you, and to be fast here, you really got to flirt with hitting that wall each and every exit of the corner. And I never like to drive that way. So long run pace is really good, but short run's definitely struggling. And there's just 2 sides to the coin. Some guys are going to go out and get that really good short run pace and fall off, but other guys are going to be lurking, and then you'll see the comers and goers as the runs go on.
Yeah, you definitely will. And looking at lap times right now, Curtis Preston, our leader, right now 23:69. Michael Sheffield back here 23:54. So it's already starting to swing back into Sheffield's favor about a 10th. So we'll see if he can consistently hit those 23.5s while these drivers fall into the 24s, and then he'll really be making up time.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now it's 12-second gap right now for the one on Michael Sheffield back from our leader Curtis Preston. About half a lap, and that 1/10 per lap, and then closer to 2/10 as the run starts to go on, and maybe more if you can keep consistent. That really does start to add up. But I got to look at this here, and we're seeing Curtis Preston, Travis Everett, and GT just kind of check out from the rest of the field. John Willett kind of lurking still, about the same distance from second and third as they are from our leader Curtis Preston. And then back behind them, Craig Burns. It's pretty spaced out now, and I'm seeing a lot of trucks now starting to fall off after they've made a little bit of contact with the wall.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more trucks too up off that bottom groove. A lot of trucks electing to really widen it out and try to get to the bottom right there on exit, and that's telling me these guys are definitely fighting a built-up air pressure on that right front. But I'll tell you who's fighting it the best is Curtis Preston, of the drivers who really didn't save. He's pulling away from Travis Everett and GT Irizarry, two teammates, and set himself up nicely here as they continue on.
Yeah, there's generally two approaches that I've seen to these corners, especially as the run goes on. You can almost kind of diamond the corners, come in really shallow, arc it up, pinch it back down, and it'll get you that straighter exit. Not so much risking hitting the wall, but also just really backing up the entry. If you can roll out of the throttle and let it roll through the center and just get nice and settled, you can charge off the corner pretty hard without risking losing the nose and having to come up and get into the fence here. I've seen a couple different guys doing different things, and it looks like Curtis Preston may be searching around just a little bit here to try to find what his truck really wants and where he can get the best runs.
Well, he's doing a fantastic job of it right now because his lap times right now just a 23.88. I mean, mostly everything behind him is in the 24-second bracket. So he's staying in that 23-second bracket, even faster than Sheffield and Upbrook, who really seem to save a lot of tire here early in the going.
Yeah, I noticed that right off the start, Matt Upbrook just almost looked like he started in fourth gear, how fast the rest of these guys pulled away from him. He's just been kind of slowly creeping in on the one of Michael Sheffield and keeping pace with him for a good bit. But now looking at it, David Edwards made some serious contact with the wall quite a few times now, has dropped back to 12th place, 13 seconds and growing back from our leader here. That truck for the 15 is definitely hurt.
Oh, definitely hurt for that 15. He's suffering. That right front damage definitely is not going to help you turn, and that's what you want to have here at Dover more than anything is front turn. If you're fighting that, then you're going to be fighting a lot of other things. So it's a tough track. As you see, Kel Seaman, I think he's coming off of pit road. Yes, he is in the 17. So he's he had not come off pit road. He had just got loose on the front straightaway and had that thing gathered up on the apron. So looks like he'll be coming to pit road this time here on lap 30. But tell you what, it's a interesting call there because, with only 2 sets of tires sitting in the pits here, you at least want to go 50 laps.
Well, Zach, I think I went back and looked at that, and Cale came out of turn 4, caught the outside wall, and then it just slid back down, and then he collected the inside wall. And I'm thinking he may just be parking that truck. That's a lot of damage he's going to have to get fixed there. And, we've talked about it before that for whatever reason, it seems like getting heavy left side contact just seems to hurt the engine quite a bit on these trucks.
It is a weird thing how that affects it like that. That left side damage just always seems to have some type of effect on the engine, and it's something that you see very commonly. And unfortunate for Cale there, like you said, he's going to bring behind the wall, so he's just gonna not end the night the way he wants. But Dover is a tough place. Sometimes it can take your lunch money. It's a big bully.
Yeah, it's a big bully for sure. That bully standing out there guarding the front of the stadium, he's charging a fee for everybody comes in here, be it money or sheet metal or whatever, but he's getting his.
I tell you what, Curtis Preston again continuously just stretching this gap here, about 2.1 seconds now, about 2.4 seconds. So he's continually stretching the gap and running 20.060 to a 20.36 from teammate Travis Everett behind. That's 0.3 of a second, and 0.3 of a second on an oval is flying. So really, really good. The only driver out there matching him really is Michael Sheffield with a 24.070.
Yeah, Sheffield considerably. I don't know if he's necessarily pushing any harder, but everybody else is definitely falling off a lot more. A lot of that's going to help that is how many trucks are out here damaged right now, not even just having the worn out tires. I saw a couple laps ago Craig Burns got into the wall. There's a good number of trucks out here, more so I think than clean trucks that are really struggling already getting into the wall. within 40 laps.
Riding on board here, looking at what it looks like to ride around Dover here with our champion. Let's point out to GT Irizarry here. He's right around the Dover International Speedway. You can see him trying to work his way around these corners, and you know, it's almost amazing how far you fall from the entry of one to the apex of one. I think it's 16 stories is actually what the distance is of how much elevation change there from that entry to the apex of the corner.
You've ever been on a roller coaster? Imagine what that feels like, going over a high-speed lift or a lip and then shooting straight back down, that lurch in your stomach. Imagine doing that, 4 times every lap for 150 plus laps. It's going to be a strange sensation.
Oh, it definitely would be, and that's a great way to put it, like a roller coaster. I mean, all your weight transfers up and the truck goes down because it's so heavy. So it's definitely an interesting feeling, and makes certain drivers really like that. And it fits certain drivers' driving style. And we've seen from the real stuff, Jimmy Johnson, a driver that really loved that just really got a hold of that elevation change really quickly, and that transition. And I think that's the most important part to be good here, is right in the transition. This track through the center of the corner is pretty self-explanatory, but I feel like where you make your money is on the entries and exits here.
I think what helps with that, Zach, is if you're able to really pay attention to what you're feeling as a driver. That we talk about all the things that we get to feel, as sim racers here on iRacing. One of the things we don't get is those G-forces. And I think, if anything, that'd be able to help your rhythm and make you smooth and consistent. Just knowing, okay, when I feel this, I need to get back to the throttle. Or, when I start to feel this, maybe a little bit more brake, maybe wait a little bit longer. Just those little cues that you can get from the sensation of going down and then back up. It's going to help you a lot if you can pay attention to it and figure out how to use it.
Looking at Richard Gonzalez, and like you said there, it's how you use the racetrack to your advantage. And some drivers haven't figured out. I certainly do not. I can tell you that much. Do not have this place figured out one bit at all. And at some points I felt like I did, and then it just went away. and it changes. You know how racing changes. But Richard Gonzalez here looking pretty stout here. He's right behind Chad Biesinger too, for that 6th position. Brennan not too far ahead of them. John Willett, actually, he must have had a pretty tough lap here a couple ago, because he dropped back pretty far. He's 7 seconds back. GT is already 5 seconds back from Curtis Preston. Teammate Travis Heather in this position, 3.8 back from Curtis Preston. So really right now, Curtis Preston in a zip code of his own. But Taylor driver making his way up and through is Michael Sheffield, as he's got past Craig Burns now in that number 2. He's closing in on the back of Richard Gonzalez, about only a second back. And he's got Chad Biesinger, Brandon Biesinger, all those right in front of him. And if this race goes good enough for him here, he could possibly catch Willett before the end of this thing. And 4 points difference. Every point's going to matter right now.
Absolutely, it will. And I'm not sure what the fuel mileage is for these guys tonight, exactly when they're going to have to pit for fuel. But like we talked about before, trying to split with the 2 extra sets in the pit, you split it into 50 lap segments and run them out pretty equally. So we should see a lot of guys, if they're electing to go that strategy, pitting here in the next few laps. And it's going to open the door for some undercuts. Looking at the lead Curtis Preston has, I think anybody to really challenge him is going to have to try and undercut tire strategy, because nobody's got the pace just outright to do anything. Michael Sheffield, he's kind of already set up his strategy here. Just get the most out of the tires when they're worn. And I don't expect him to try to undercut anybody. Just going to run it out as long as possible. Maybe be one of the last guys to pit and just kind of pounce on even more on having those fresher tires advantage.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I mean, he's running great lap times right now, but Richard Gonzalez right directly ahead of him, 24.25 to his 24.25. So, and then even Biesinger ahead, only a 10th faster than Biesinger. Another 10th faster than the Brendan Biesinger, who's actually hitting pit road here on lap 48. And about a 2/10 quicker than Willett. So, not a crazy amount quicker. And I tell you who's a crazy amount quicker is Curtis Preston, still running 24 ones as I run through these lap times. That dude he's really flying right now compared to anything on this racetrack.
He is at least a tenth quicker than anyone else, but at the most, it's looking like upwards of 4/10 quicker per lap. But I'm getting the call. Curtis Preston's coming into pit this time. Looks like he is indeed splitting into 50-lap segments.
I think that's a good strategy. I think that's the way to go. If I'm Travis Everett, you see what he did at Texas last week by stretching it. I think these other guys go out here and run about maybe 5 or 4 more laps and see how it works out for them. So we'll have to see if that is something that transitions to there. But you never know. At the moment, it's Richard Gonzalez closing in on the back of Chad Buesinger for that third position. It would be now.
Well, Zach, I'm going to have to look at it here, go through some of the information we've got, and see exactly, get a rough estimate on, their fuel mileage. But if they can stretch it to 75 and make this a one-stop race, I think that might be the way to go. I just don't see the fresh tires getting you back all that time that you're going to have to make on that extra pit stop.
That is a great point, actually. 75 laps. Oh, man. I think that might be doable, Brandon. I think it really might be.
If that is the case, I would imagine that would be the strategy you'd want to go with. I don't see, the benefit of the extra stop. Yeah, you've got the tires and you can use them. There's really no sense in trying to save them for a late caution because these Adrenaline Rush Truck Series races are pretty clean every week and don't get a lot of them. But the time you're going to give up, I mean, Curtis Preston's already a lap down. He's going to have to fight back to get that back, then make another lap just to get back to the lead. Doing that again later in the run with less than 50 laps to go by the time he makes that second pit stop, I just don't see it working out very well for him. I think if Travis Everett can stretch this, that's the way to go.
I like Curtis Preston's thinking of trying to get split it up into the pieces, lap 50 and then lap 100 again. But my problem with that is he had such a big lead. He could have waited to see what his competition did. He had a big enough lead to where if they would have pitted a few laps, they wouldn't have undercutted him. If they did, he would have been directly right behind them. The time would have been too good. He would have had fresher tires. It would have played out very well for him because he was already the fastest car on the longest run. So him pulling this strategy is definitely out of left field for me, but it could work out for him. But I tell you what, I kind of like where Everett sits right now with GT Arizari also.
Yeah, I was going to say GT looking like he's going to pull the kind of the same strategy that Travis Everett is looking for here. And they've got still quite a few laps to go. Still not getting the information. I can't seem to find it as to exactly what their fuel load's looking like tonight to know if they can make it. But I would imagine at this point that it's going to be full. And
Yeah,
I
it's
believe
full, yeah.
full, they should be able to make it to 75. If I remember right, full, you can make about, like you said, with the tire limit, you can make about 80 laps on a fuel tank.
85. Yeah. I've definitely done 80, 85 lap runs around here for in the past. I mean, fuel mileage changes, of course, but I think they're sitting in the window to do that. Now, the only problem is their lap times have dropped to a range of pretty slow right now. I mean, they're running 2470s, while Preston's out here running 2311s. The fall off is pretty dramatic, so this could be interesting actually how this plays out, and especially with the gap that Preston had and just the overall pace that he carries throughout the run. It'll be interesting, Brandon. I think we can't count Curtis Preston out, but if he can come back from this, it just shows the pace he has personally.
Well, the biggest thing right now is I believe Curtis Preston has yet to unlap himself.
Yeah, he has not.
And he's going on 10 laps now, just under 10 laps here on these sets of tires. And by the time that they pit, Travis Everett, looks like Travis may be coming into pit this time. No, I think he's just really fallen off the pace here. He's behind now. He might be saving fuel, Zach, trying to make it to that magic number.
Their lap times have dropped considerably, but I don't know if it's fuel saving going on. But I tell you, Richard Gonzalez and Michael Sheffield right now, two of the fastest trucks on this strategy right now, running 24.5 for Richard Gonzalez. The GT's 24.95, only 4 seconds back. Could this be the day or the night for Richard Gonzalez? As I think Curtis Preston here will unlap himself going down into 1 and 2 here.
Well, you know, two things going into this strategy for sure. One, it relies on a lot of people not being on your same strategy if you don't have the pace. But right now, it's looking like Travis Everett and GT kind of falling off a little bit here. But Travis Everett, especially now, last time by at 25, I think it may have just been letting his, giving room to his teammate Curtis Preston to get his lap back. But Richard Gonzalez also being on this strategy, Michael Sheffield also being on this strategy, having better race pace than GT or Travis really puts them on the back foot, I'd say, because they're going to have to figure out something to get that pace to not allow these guys to jump them on their strategy.
There comes a few cars on new tires there, passing Michael Sheffield. Looks like Wellette, Brendan Beesinger, Chad Beesinger, Craig Burns, all on that same strategy of pitting a little bit earlier to play it out. But I tell you what, Richard Gonzalez still continues to be one of the fastest cars, or fastest cars on the older tires. So he could, I'm telling you, the 6 gotta watch out for him. Oh no, and I say that I just cursed him because he just hit the wall.
The good news is his nose damage isn't that bad. It's more so on the rear. Didn't get any splitter damage, so he's going to still have decent pace as opposed to some of these other guys that have really knocked the fence down. But yeah, definitely not as good as it was with that truck.
And I believe Everett has hit pit road here on lap 65. So interesting strategy calls here by this. I want to see how this works out for him. He's definitely not taking it to that 75 mark, like we were saying. Can GT stretch it that far? We'll have to see. I just don't know. And Preston still coming at about a second, almost 2 seconds faster a lap. By the time GT hits pit road, Curtis Preston could almost be passing him.
Well, and like we talked about before, the good thing is that even though GT will get passed by a substantial amount when he makes his pit cycle, if he can make that number, Curtis is going to have to pit, Curtis is going to have to pit again in, another 25 laps, and it's really going to open up the door for GT to make that gap and try to manage it. And he's going to give up time for sure, but if he can just run smooth, consistent, not lose so much on his lap times as he did this first run, I think this is a really good strategy. Travis Everett pitting now, he's still going to have to pit again. He's going to have a lot fresher tires than Curtis Preston, but I felt like he's just given up so much time. And as I say that, he turned down the quickest lap of the race here with a 22:39, but I just think he waited far too long to come in here, and especially at the end of the race, he's not going to have a lot of time to make up the ground. He's going to give up on that second pit stop.
Yeah, I think the Everett pits, the call there was interesting. Definitely, going 15 laps longer than Curtis Preston, but not being able to make it all the way to the end. That's a tough one from the driver's seat there, Brandon. I think you just gotta you already dug your hole. That you're already gonna do that strategy. You might as well stick to it. As you see GT, I believe him and Sheffield both stick to that strategy. But the thing is, Curtis Preston only 8.7 seconds back. He's really closing in right now at a considerable rate.
Well, the good news is that they've only got to make another 4 laps on this strategy. If you can make it any more than 75, if you've had to save during this run to make it to that, try to get 76. That one extra lap that you're not having to save, you're going to be able to push that much harder for this final half of the race and not have to worry about giving up pace to try to make sure you can make it to the end.
It's a very good question to ask them. Ask these drivers is, are they having to save fuel to make it to that point? And if they're not, my opinion here with Curtis Preston only 5.7 seconds back right now, already up to that 4th position. As you can see, 3rd and 2nd going down into turn 3 and 4 there. He's closing at such a considerable rate. You got to have a better run this next time by, in my opinion. You got to be a little more consistent with your lap times if you're going to want to be this 29.
Well, Zach, I'm telling you right now, GT is clutching all the way to center into the corners
Okay.
here. He is saving a ton.
That makes it very interesting, as I believe Sheffield's hitting pit road here on 73, so he's not going to make it. Upbrook on pit road 2 says, I think 73, 74 is about as much as they could go. Did GT save enough, though? That's the question. If he can save, like you said, go an extra lap, that'll really help his cause.
Yeah, if you can make it to 76, you've already come this far. Go ahead and stretch that extra lap. It's that little bit less that you have to save for this final run here.
You know, the other big thing here, too, is when Curtis Preston comes to pit next time on lap 100, it's only going to be 25 laps on the tires instead of 50 that these drivers had. So the difference is not going to be as big as you see here. Going down into 3 and 4, you got GT Azari. He's going to be hitting pit road. We'll see how it works out for him. Ooh, he was in there pretty fast, guys. That was 45 mile an hour there for a moment, and he got it slowed down. I think he's good, but man, oh man, well, his speed's kind of under the mile per hour, so he might lose a little bit of time
I
here.
think
but
he is sputtering.
he's sputtering. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. That speed's changing back and forth. See what he can do here. He'll hit his pit box. He at least got in there, didn't make a mistake there. That's the big thing. And he made it to this point.
Yeah, it's a good thing he did not slide through the box there because he ran out of fuel right when he stopped, had to refire it up once he started fueling it.
And now, can he save fuel in the early portion of the run to make his tires better is my question. You know, that would be probably a pretty smart thing, in my opinion, to go ahead and save some here at the beginning.
Yeah, I tell you, I hate fuel mileage races. I tend to end up losing them. But I love the fact that how it opens up the strategy. You don't have to worry about being the fastest guy out here. There's so much more that you can do to win a race rather than just being quick.
Well, everybody, I'll tell you this thing. The funny thing that Brandon was just talking about is he doesn't enjoy fuel mileage, but this guy actually did fuel mileage for Road Pro and got himself a win calling fuel. So, gotta congratulate him on that for being smart with fuel and guiding the driver that he was working with to that victory.
And that's the key point you bring up there. We got that win. I wasn't driving.
Like, I can do it when I'm outside the car, but
Yeah.
inside it, nope, we're good. No. And GT is already making around it. I tell you, that would be a statement to win the night's race and declare yourself the champion in one race.
Yeah, and he's already about to unlap himself. Yeah, I believe he should be. No, he's back to one lap down, so we have quite a bit of time now. But still, I mean, he's going to be making up quite a bit of a difference here on Curtis Preston. Not as much as Curtis was on him, but the fact that the extra pit stop time, plus now he's going to be less than a lap down when Curtis comes into pit, and he's probably going to put Curtis about 2 laps down, maybe a little bit more once they come back around here. So it's going to be close, but I think if he can avoid having to save that aggressively at the end, give up a little bit of pace now to do that, it should work out pretty well for him.
I know some other drivers are going to have to really save a lot to make that there, as I think Sheffield and Upbrook were just 2 laps shy of making it there on fuel. And those two are going to be definitely in trouble for the rest of this race.
I have to think that the only one that can make this strategy work now is GT, and that's just barely. As we saw him come in right at the tail end of 75. So he's a little bit extra in the bank, but you know, Michael Sheffield, I don't think he can make it. I think he's just too far short. If he couldn't make 75, he's got to make, 77 this time to make it. So I just don't think that's in the cards for him.
We will have to see. Maybe if he starts to say, I mean, he should have saved a lot with how, the speed he was trying to save the tires with in the beginning. Maybe that was the game for him from the very beginning of why him and Upbrook were running that slow. But do it for GT to run as fast as he did and save as much fuel as he did, super impressive.
Oh, absolutely. These guys, I talked about it before, how I didn't have the understanding. of how these guys were able to save the fuel, and they come out and these guys seem to have such a good handle on the fuel management and what it takes to really get those those extra 5 laps out of a tank of fuel. So hats off to them on being able to pull these, even stretching it as far as they did.
I'll tell you what, though. There goes GT by Travis Everett there, who's now running in that 4th position. Everett, though, who pitted later than Curtis Preston, is running slower. So, not looking great for Travis, the position he's in.
I think it's just Curtis. It's the difference in understanding the way you have to run the track. It seems like Curtis has something figured out that he's able to really drive a lot harder, but not burn up the tires as much. He's just something that he's doing is much more smoother on the wheel, and maybe just taking care of it that little extra bit that's allowing him to keep up his pace, whereas Travis hasn't quite figured it out yet.
Yeah, he just seems to be struggling just a little bit with the car as the run continues on. So, see if GT can do a better job to be able to put himself in a better position. Because I mean, he needs oh wow, as he catches well out there in the center of the corner. That's unfortunate. That's gonna slow him up a good bit there, racing that 81. Gonna not help his causes of catching that leader. Curtis Preston still running a second quicker almost in that Ford truck. So he is closing in as Preston crosses the start finish line. He's midway down the back straightaway, so only about half a lap from unlapping himself. But then I don't know, man. This is I think it still sets up pretty well for Curtis Preston now, just looking at the gap size.
Well, they still got 10 laps until we're imagining Curtis Preston's going to be coming into pit here. And Curtis may decide, he may have saw what they did and said, you know what, I'm not going to pit here at 100. I'm going to pit, maybe somewhere around lap 125 if he can make it that far. And then just go and use the fresh tires, get as much as he can out of them, knowing he doesn't really have to take the time to take care of them, and just try to get all that back and not allow them to get that extra bit of time, for this early pit stop here.
That's a very true statement there. I mean, I don't know what. There's so many different ways to look at it, but I think it's actually going to be pretty close between GT and Curtis for that win, because I just see Curtis being able to make up that ground with the pace he has. Just 24 ones consistently every time, just banging out the lap time here every single lap. And I mean, even Everett pitting 15 laps later, he has not really cut into that lead anymore.
Looking at my scoring, is it correct that Curtis Preston is the only one on the lead lap? Or is he just close behind the guys in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 4th at least, that it's looking that way?
He's got a 15-second lead over Willett right now. So 15 seconds right now, 16 over B. Singer in the 3rd position, and 17 over Everett. And then the rest of the field is 1 or more lap down.
Well, good update for the fans, but also for the fans, if you want to see what I'm talking about here, go check out our website where you can see the same scoring that we look at to call these races here, and you'll see exactly how confusing it can be.
Yeah, definitely. So I tell you what, it'll let you follow around with them lap times, and you can be out there crunching the numbers yourself out there in the chat. So we'll have to see what type of a ground Curtis Preston will have to make up, but I'm excited. I can't wait to actually get to lap about 100 or when Curtis Preston pits, because when I see that gap, I think I'll be able to tell you yes or no definitely. I can't say the word right now. I'll definitely be able to tell you what I think happens with how it plays out.
Definitively.
There we go. I couldn't say it. I'm not good with words.
Words are hard.
We know that up in there in the freaky fast booth. As you see, Everett did get by Brendan B. Singer to move up into 3rd. He's cracked the top 3 again. Only about 2 seconds back there from John Willett in that second position. So definitely closing in there for himself. And right now, looking at it, so Curtis Preston going through 1 and 2, exiting 2 right now. GT is already just about to enter 1 now. So the gap is definitely closed in. But the big thing I'm looking at is the lap times difference has only been about 2 to 3 tenths every single lap. So it's still not a huge difference. It's going to play out interesting to see what the gap is when this all happens here, as Preston coming up on the back of Matt Upbrook to possibly put him 3 laps down.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Zach. You talking earlier about the speed difference with Curtis Preston and the rest of the field. 3/10, it was huge, but now 3/10 for GT having a gap on speed over Curtis Preston at this point it doesn't seem like quite enough. It's just funny that it plays out that way. Where time difference can mean completely different things.
Yeah, it definitely weird like that. But I mean, last time by GT 23:52, so he bumped it up right there and went almost 8 tenths quicker. As lap here 100, he's sticking to the plan, sticking to the book is Curtis Preston. As he hits pit road, this should switch the hands of the lead over to John Willett in this 81, unless Travis Everett can track him down here before the start of the finish line, which is unlikely. As always, John Willett hits pit road. Guess what? He misses pit road, gets into the barrels slightly, and has to get back going. So, wow, 81 mistake entering pit road for John Willett, and that could be the door open for Sheffield to gain some points on him.
I would have to say so. That is the absolute worst case scenario now, and GT just now passing Curtis Preston, who's still in his box here. But yeah, John Willett, one, damage is going to hurt my time, but the time difference as well. Now that I believe Michael Sheffield, we have to remember that he's still going to have to pit pretty late. I'm just wondering how much time this is going to cost the 81, and if that's going to allow him to keep even one position ahead of Michael Sheffield.
I'll tell you what, the gap between Preston and GT is not as big as I thought it was going to be. If I was at the tables betting right now, I'm putting my money on this 29 to go back up there and take this lead. I think he can definitely do it.
With 50 laps to go, not looking very good. Curtis is now a lap down, but we saw how quickly he was to unlap himself and get back around right when GT was having to make his pit stop. So if it plays out the exact same way, it's just going to be a matter of if Curtis can get a little bit to him faster, or if GT maybe just does not save quite enough and is sputtering. I think this might be coming down to the line here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be wild here. But I mean, the thing is, first run lap, pit at lap 50, he was catching them about 25 laps later into the run when GT was sitting pit road on 75, literally passed them that lap entering 3. This time he's got 50 laps and he's closer. So I know the tire wear difference is not as big. We're looking at 25 laps compared to 50 lap tire difference. But at this point right now, GT's already at a 23.99 right now. I think the amount of time Preston can make up is going to be well worth it. He's already in the middle of 3 and 4 with GT in the middle of 1 and 2. So he's about half a track back. The problem is passing. When he gets there, how quick will he still be? Is the dirty air going to play an influence? But I think it's going to come down to about a 15 to go pass here for the lead, if anything.
Yeah, and the biggest thing here, like you talked about, the closer difference on tires from this time to the last run, it's under a second now, the speed difference between Curtis Preston and GT, whereas last time it was a little over a second a lap. So it's going to take longer for sure, but like you talked about, it's 50 lap difference at this point rather than the 25 before. So yeah, it very well could be a matter of 15 to 10 laps here before Curtis Preston's able to get back by him. And a lot of things can happen as well. We've got to figure in lap cars slowing him down, how much time that might cost him as the course of this run goes on here toward the end. And GT's just, he made his bed and he's laying in it and just hoping that it works out well. It may not be a win, but I think it's still good enough for second place.
I think you're definitely right about that. But I tell you what, it will be a win if a caution comes out. Because Curtis Preston, no tires on pit road. John Willett, any driver who's made their second pit stop has no tires on pit road left. Travis Everett will still be in a pretty good position with one set still left here. He needs the caution to come out, I would say, within probably about 15 to 20 to go. I don't know if he's going to stay out that long. Let's go. Well, it looks he's going to hit pit road this time here in the 59. Let's say he can't stay out too long here because he's definitely not going to make it. So he's going to go ahead and go in there, get his tires. He's going to want to, if anything, he needs a caution pretty quickly. Because he's going to hope that he can have some fresh tires. But GT's sitting in a good spot still, but we'll see what the gap is when the line gets crossed here this time with Curtis Preston. It'll tell us what the gap here is. Let's see, it looks like about 9.2 seconds separating GT and Curtis Preston. Right now, 23-24 from this 29 to a 24-35 from this number 4 truck. It's about a second difference, 9-second gap. I think he gets there at some point. He's got to.
And Curtis Preston, I thought he was a lap down. I thought he was going to cycle around to be a lap down here, but
Did not.
He managed to stay on the lead lap and not be any farther back from GT than that. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is not going to work out for GT, but definitely a second place run here. You know, Curtis Preston's really the only one that's got anything for him. Brendan has already pit, so he's looking like he might take a solid third place here, but Michael Sheffield's going to have to pit again. We know that. So I believe we kind of know what our top 3 is here if this thing goes green to the end.
Yeah, it's going to be wild to see how this shakes out here down to the very end. I mean, 6.3 seconds now, the gap. Each and every lap, Curtis Preston cutting in almost a second to 9/10 each lap. I think he'll be there pretty quickly, actually. With definitely going to be, I think, before 20 to go before he gets the lead.
I would have to say so. It's definitely, you know, at the current pace, he has chopped into that lead substantially each and every lap here. Last time by, a little under a second, but still, that's a huge difference on speed every lap. And now, Travis Everett, again, coming out of pits on his fresh tires, putting down another quickest lap of the race with a 22.3. So Travis is wishing that now, especially, I think he maybe would have pit a little bit closer to his teammate, Curtis Preston.
Yeah, I think he realized pretty quickly that that's what he needed to do earlier. He did it this time a little bit better, but lost so much time during that first part. I mean, 17 seconds was about the gap that separated them. So it's and that was really just down the strategy. I mean, it was about a 4-second lead, I think, in Preston Pitt. So, I mean, he gained upwards of 13 seconds there just from his strategy. And that just shows you how much strategy affects you in these races, man. Now down to a 4-second lead there for GT Arizari as we close, as Preston continues to close in. Now my thing is, who in third place is going to do this, because Sheffield hitting pit road this time in the 1. Brendan Biesinger sitting in that 68. He pitted on a lap, I believe. You're looking at it. He pitted on around lap 50. So he's about to be out of fuel here pretty quickly too. As he stretched it here to 117.
Well, Brendan came in last time just a couple laps before Curtis tried to undercut him a little bit here. So Brendan, I think, is well within the window to make it.
Interesting. So Brendan Biesinger looking like he might be in a good position here for a third place position.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think we know who our top 3 are going to be. It's just a matter of what order they finish in. I believe, based on the pace that Brendan Biesinger's running here, it's not much slower than Curtis Preston. Granted, he has a much bigger gap to GT, but I think if he keeps it consistent, about a second a lap every lap now. Last time by, it looked like it was a second and 1/10 quicker. Or, excuse me, sorry, a little less than half a second rather. He should be able to make up the gap and contend here with GT.
Oh man, that's gonna be very wild to see. And I tell you what, Preston's times are starting to get closer to that 24-second bracket, 23:66 last time out. It's a 64, so still running great times here. But I tell you what, the closer it gets to the 24-second bracket, when he catches the 4 of GT, it's going to get tougher and tougher to follow.
Yeah, that dirty air on equal tires is going to make it a lot harder, but right now I feel like Curtis Preston has such an advantage on his tires right now that it's not going to really be all that difficult. And as we're talking about it, GT comes over the radio and says, "Rut-row," as he knows what's coming.
You can definitely see that black 29 Jim Beam car coming along here in his mirror as it's down to under a second and a half now for this number 29 Curtis Preston as he continues his dominant performance. I mean, pulling the really, I would say, I don't even know if you could call it the less optimal strategy because what he's done with it. So I'm questioning maybe he was on the optimal strategy compared to everybody else.
Well, that's we talk about it all the time. You don't know the optimal one until it's the one that's won the race. And I would have to agree with GT and these guys. Trying to push it to the one stop there. It's the safest strategy, especially if we get a late caution. You've got that extra set where these other guys don't. But it's playing into the hands of these guys that have elected to take that two stop and use those sets because these races tend to go green, so you're not really going to get that late caution, and it's paid off very, very well for them. Man, it's funny the way that works out sometimes. It's out of the box, and apparently that's the way to go.
And here it is. Number 29 of Curtis Preston now within striking distance. Look at the lane open up. The 29 looking to take it, but the 4 closes the door on teammate Curtis Preston there. GT's not going to make this easy. He's going to make him fight for it still. But man, oh man, I tell you what, he's got to drive off here. Going to look to the inside, not be there yet, but going down into 3 and 4. GT drives it way in deep. He's going to slide way up the track into the grade. You don't see the amount of speed he loses as Curtis Preston now set and sail with 23 to go here at the Dover International Speedway.
It almost looked like GT was trying to really sail it off in there and cut his teammate off for the lead there, but the truck just didn't have any turn and he couldn't get it pulled back down to the bottom of the track.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what it looked like there. And I tell you what, looking at Curtis Preston's season so far in these trucks, not the greatest season he's had personally. 13 starts to his name and only 1 win coming in here. I'm sure he would have liked to have a few more in the bag, and especially even with just the 7 top 5s. I mean, especially compared to teammate GT Rosario with 12 top 5s. I mean, GT's been the definition of consistency, and Curtis Preston has been, kind of lacking in the trucks personally from what we usually see in the Cup cars with him. So he is out here putting on a clinic here tonight at Dover and showing what he's worth.
Yeah, and we talk about all the time how similar these trucks are to the Cup cars with their downforce and their power to downforce ratios. They just drive so similar, and it's funny to see, like you talk about, somebody that we've seen proven as a champion in the Cup car just kind of not quite get his head wrapped around these trucks. They're similar, but they're still different in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's what kind of confused me. They're pretty similar driving style, or just the way you got to drive them. Pretty similar to the Cup car, so kind of caught me off guard when Curtis Preston was knocking off multiple wins here in this series. So it's definitely interesting to see. But I tell you what, tonight he's took every bit of doubt about me and his truck series driving, and he's threw that out the window here at Dover.
Yeah, we talked about a statement from GT. This is really a statement for Curtis Preston that, hey, I haven't had the best season here with these things. Not the results I really wanted, but still somebody you're going to have to worry about every time we hit the track.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a big celebration here in the post-racing interviews, I'm sure, as GT Azari going to take home that 2021 championship here, the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. Congrats to him again on that. It's been fantastic to watch him throughout this whole entire season, and I tell you what, he's still got a race to go out there and cap it all off next week at Darlington. We'll see what he can do there to finish out the season, but at the moment, running in that second place position, he's looking strong to get another top 3 as teammate Curtis Preston just looking to bring it home really here. As tell you what, the battle that I'm really going to be interested in here is, can Travis Everett catch Brendan Biesinger? The gap is, I think, a little too much for Everett to catch him, but if Biesinger slips up a little bit, Everett could put himself back in that top 3 position.
Well, you're looking at that battle, Zach. I'm looking at the battle between Michael Sheffield and John Willett in the 81. Just trying to figure out if Sheffield's got the pace. He's running a second a lap quicker than the 81 right now. Just trying to figure out if he can maybe get up there and for that position.
Yeah, the only issue there, Brandon, is he's a lap behind him, so it doesn't look like
again.
Yeah, so Michael Sheffield 2 laps down to John Willett's 1 lap down there. Not looking very likely there for that. So Willett maybe to put a few points there on Michael Sheffield to guarantee maybe his second place position in the championship. As you see, old man Richard Gonzalez getting to the outside wall and bounce off that thing as he's coming down to the end here. He's in a 6th place position, got a lap, or actually 7th place position ahead of Matt Upwood and Chad Singer, 3 laps down, but Everett still trying to close in the gap on Biesinger. Last time by was a half a second difference. And with 13 to go, you see Biesinger there in the picture. He just got into the wall in that 68. And I tell you what, that 59 is closing in very quickly here with 12 to go. Can he have it to the 68?
Okay, so I'm glad it's not just me.
No, we're asking what battle is, but yeah, but he's only a couple seconds behind him. The leader's right in between them.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. People up here thinking I'm crazy, but I know what's going on. Don't worry.
See, it's just, I don't know, man. Scoring strikes everybody. But talking about John Willett and Michael Sheffield. 3 things. 1, it proved that issue on pit road did not hurt him as much as it could have. 2, that I'm really bad at reading scoring. And 3, even though he's going to have 1 spot above him for this race as it's running right now, next week is Darlington. There is no guarantee that John is not going to go in there and completely slap the wall down and end up finishing, outside the top 10. So there's still quite a chance here for Sheffield to gain that spot. But the battle with Travis Everett here, I thought Brendan Biesinger was going to have a lot more pace, and he's really fallen off now as he's gone a lap down.
Yes, he had. He's into the outside wall with 9 to go. Here comes Matt Upbrook by. He's 3 laps down. That's not for position, but here it is. Travis Everett with 8 coming to 8 to go here. He's going to slide up behind this 68 of Brendan Biesinger. Start putting the pressure on. This is for a top 3 position. The 68 goes up the racetrack. Nice, clean pass for the 59 Travis Everett. He goes back to the top 3 in that 59.
Well, we were wrong about who we thought our top 3 was going to be. Those fresher tires on the missed time pit stop for Travis Everett didn't hurt him as much as I thought it would, Zach. Still able to come out here and chase down the top 3 finish.
Yes, they were. As 7 to go now. Over a 7-second lead for Curtis Preston, as he has had a great day in the office here in the 29. Tell you what, the way he's running here tonight, I can't wait to see him in the Cup Series tomorrow night. See what he can carry some momentum. Getting a win in any series can help carry that over.
It absolutely can, and tomorrow night being Talladega, not going to matter too much about all this,
I mean, it can fire him up maybe a little bit, but
it'll be a complete boost in confidence. But we're not going to have to deal with the the rhythm and making sure you're not
Yeah.
getting gas too hard, anything like that. But give you a lot of confidence in a plate track like that. You need to have the confidence to make those aggressive moves to get to the front, and that will absolutely help.
That's very true. And only 3 weeks away in the Cup Series is Dover, so maybe he can carry some Dover magic to there. 3 weeks, but you know, it's still impressive to watch him out here tonight. This is probably one of the most clinical performances I've seen all season here in the Truck Series. He's just been downright quick each and every lap. Had the short run, the long run, the medium run speed, everything to go with it, and that's when you know your nights come all together. As he'll come to 3 and 4 this time, and we'll only have 3 to go here as we're nearing the end of this race, guys.
And the most beautiful part about it all, he hasn't hit the wall once.
That's exactly right. The monster has not reached out and grabbed him, but you never know. He's got 3 laps to do it.
Oof, yeah, I'd feel really bad.
Oh man, that'd be a jinx, wouldn't it? There.
Yeah, might have to retire after that one.
Definitely would consider it. With 2 to go here, Curtis Preston with a 11.1 second lead over GT Rosario, our champion here in the Truck Series, and Travis Everett there in that 3rd position, 1 lap back. I mean, that just shows Curtis Preston a whole lap ahead of the field. I mean, I don't know if he laps up to 2nd place there if everybody sticks on his strategy.
Well, it sounds like GT is back to clutching it here, just trying to make it to the end. And that's the biggest thing, too, is that GT has to make it to the end of the race second. So he's still got to save a ton of fuel, but... oh, is it already the
There it
final?
is. Yep, Sheffield Graphics white flag. We got it last time by as Brandon was going on. And there it is. Check your flag in the air. That's your Sheffield Graphics place winner of Curtis Preston. Congrats to him here winning over in for the Rush Truck Series. As he's going to bring it around here and get ready to celebrate him a 2nd victory on the season. I tell you what, he can celebrate with his teammate too, who has now brought home the championship after tonight. Congrats to GT Rosario and congrats to Slide Job Racing, Curtis Preston.
It's difficult, man. There's so many cars, different laps.
Yeah, a little confusion up in the booth. I was trying to say Sheffield Graphics white flag, but Brandon had a thought there for a minute.
Yes, I have many of those.
As we'll see Curtis Preston here burn them down and celebrate tonight's victory here at the Dover National Speedway. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will get a break here for one moment as we get our top 3 drivers up here in the press box, and we'll get an interview with them. All right, we are back here with our post-race interviews here tonight from the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here from the Evolution Racing Leagues. As we just finished up here at Dover with a fantastic race here, as we have Travis Everett, our 3rd place finisher from Slide Job Racing. Hey, Travis, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy? Hey, Travis Sackman in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Hey, Travis, man. Well, I tell you what, a great run again for yourself here tonight after the win last week at the Texas Motor Speedway. You're bringing home the third position, man. I tell you what, strategies were all over the place here tonight. We were trying to keep up with them. Let us know how you guys were sorting that all out down there in the truck.
Yeah, I don't think there was much strategy that could hold that 29 back tonight. He was tough. He was on rails all night. Maybe if he started 2 laps after everybody might have had a shot.
Yeah, that was the really the next question for me is, is that why, yourself and GT elected to go so much farther? I mean, GT made the one stop by saving the fuel, but you just elected to go farther just to see if you could do anything different than Curtis, because like you said, I mean, he was just on rails tonight.
Yeah, I was hoping the newer tires that were going to make a bigger difference than what they did, but it seemed about 15, 20 laps in, they kind of leveled off there. Last pit stop, I didn't do myself any favors spinning it coming off pit road there either.
Yeah, definitely leveling off there, and I tell you, the 29, he made it easy to level off too with his pace there. He could carry all through the night, so Curtis definitely had one up for sure here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. But next week we had head to Darlington to close out the season. Travis, how do you think you can close out your season next week at Darlington? Sorry.
I'm looking forward to it. It's another one of those tracks where you got to drive the track more than competition. I enjoy places like that. We ran a really good cup car there last year. It's been a while since I've been there in the truck, but hope we can translate it over.
We'll have to see how that plays out for yourself, man. But third place here tonight, so congrats on that. But before we let you go, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, just teammates over there at SJR. Another podium sweep for us tonight. Had a real good night. And Sheffield Graphics for all they do. And all y'all out there freaking fast. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much, Travis. We appreciate you guys, and we will catch you next week at Darlington, man.
Yep, see y'all tomorrow night at Dega, too.
That's true. Yep, too. I almost forgot that one, buddy. But you have a great night. All right, that was Travis there. Like you said, we'll be with them guys at Dega tomorrow night with the Cup Series, so we'll see what he can do there. Now we'll move on to our race winner. We'll save our champion for last, GT Azari, but we'll go ahead with Curtis Preston here, our race winner here tonight, getting a second win in the Truck Series. Hey, Curtis is back up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Hey, Curtis, you there, man?
Yeah, I got you. Sorry, I keep messing up with the button here. How you doing, man?
All good, man. All good. I understand how that is. Man, did you have a button in that truck? 'Cause, that thing was on rails, and I kind of just described to us how good your truck was out there.
Oh, the setup was great. The setup just nailed the way I want one to feel. Is all I know how to explain it. It rolled the bottom really, really well, especially through the middle. And I mean, our strategy from the word go was just we were going to break it up into thirds and drop the hammer and see what happened.
Yeah, that was the question because we seen, you pit exactly at 50 and exactly at 100. So it seemed like you stayed exactly to the strategy you had formulated coming into here. And it played out really well for yourself. We didn't know if GT could, make it on fuel or could he make it through that one stop. And it seems like he had to save a little bit. But, man, I don't think there was no strategy that could have stopped the 29 out there tonight, man. You get your second win here of the season in the trucks. That's good to see here at the end of the season. But going into Darlington next week, you think you can end this season with some momentum as Slide Job Racing continue to get these 1, 2, 3s, man. How do you feel for Darlington next week?
Sorry, daggone button. Feel really good about Darlington, man. We won there last year and won pretty convincingly. I really like Darlington, always have. We'll see though. I mean, you just never know, man. Some days you show up and you're there, and some days you're not. Hopefully, we can have a repeat of tonight. It'd be nice.
That it definitely would, man. Slide Job Racing been looking very strong. It's been fun to watch, man. But congrats on the victory again here tonight. Your second of the season here in the Truck Series. And one more race to go to see if you can get that third one. But before we let you go, Curtis, anybody wants to send a shout out to you for this victory here tonight?
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Mike Sheffield, man, for putting this on. I'm a big fan of this old school style of racing. No stages, no planned cautions, 150 miles, go out and run it. I love that style of racing, and it's really nice. Evolution Racing Leagues, you get that opportunity to do different kinds of stuff. I love racing the RSR Cup too because I love Cup racing, but at the same time, I love to come out here and run these long races with no stages. thanks to the guys at SJR as always. And appreciate y'all in the booth, man. And hopefully we can talk to you again next week.
Hey man, we'll have to see how that works out, and maybe tomorrow night Talladega you can maybe come up with something. So good luck for tomorrow night, and we will catch you there, man.
So good night.
All right, that was Curtis Preston, your winner here tonight from the Dover International Speedway, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. But we have our champion now. GTers are. We can make it technically official because how many points he's up here. We will go ahead and bring him down and see what his thoughts are on winning a championship here. Hey, GT, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy.
What's happening?
Hey, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Nice strategy here tonight to try something different and see if you can make it down to the end. But before we get into that, man, I think we can go ahead and call it for now. But you are going to be the champion here. It seems like for the 2021 Adrenaline Rush Truck Series, man. How does that feel?
Feels good, man. I mean, we were defending champions, so we were able to, to back it up and do it again. I mean, we were talking about it at the beginning of the race with the some of the other guys not showing up. So I was like, all right, well, we're going to try something a little bit different. And I know Sheffield and Matt were talking about pitting it to halfway. So I started I was clutching the car down the straightaway going into the turns, toward the end of that first run and made it longer than everybody. And then, pretty much the second run, I was doing the same thing. And I mean, if Curtis wouldn't have been out here tonight, it would have worked. I would have won.
You're exactly right. I mean, like you said, if Curtis would have been out here, I mean, we talked to Travis too about that, and tonight he was just on rails. I don't know what strategy could have been him, but I mean, you did the opposite. I think that was your best shot at it. And down to the very end, we didn't know how it was going to play out till he finally came out of the pits, and it seemed like he was close enough to be able to use them tires to his advantage, man. But down to the very end, it was crazy. But how much fuel did you have to say? Because like you said, you were clutching on the straights. We seen you start saving pretty early. I mean, it seemed pretty tough to make it that far. As even Sheffield and Matt Elbrook did not make it. So
original plan was that's not me, and I'm not a good saver, so I was just going to go and I was the only thing I was saving at the beginning of that first run was trying to maintain some tires, and just kind of ride back to behind Travis. I ended up catching the right rear, tapped the wall down the straightaway of all places, but I don't think it really did any damage. I had like 2 seconds to repair in the pits, which I didn't do. So I was just trying to save the tires. And then I don't know. I was like, man, when I started looking at my fuel, I was like, I might be able to do this. So that's when I went into fuel saving mode, and I was talking with our teammate Travis, and I said, I caught him, and I thought he was saving, and he says no. He's like he just wore his tires. He was down to like 6% on his right front tire, and I'm like, man, I was throwing it, and my clutching is I'm putting it in neutral and then slamming it back in fourth gear in the middle of the turn. So I was putting it in neutral, probably 3/4 of the way down the straightaway and letting it go. And about halfway through the turn, I was slamming it back down in fourth and going. And it worked out. I mean, so I was like, well, hell, whatever. Let's see what happens. And that first pit, I started to sputter going into 3 and got it down. And I was sputtering, on pit road trying to get my box enough to where, how it is. You're trying to give it gas to go. And all of a sudden it gets that gas and it takes off, and I was speeding, and I was like, God, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna get caught with a speeding ticket, because I'm trying to keep the truck going, and it didn't. And then as soon as I hit the box, the truck shut off, and then boom, it cranked right back up with fuel, and and then as you see at the end, I coasted across the line there at the finish too.
hey man, that just shows how much work you had to do to get it all worked out there, man. That was wild stuff there, hearing how you saved it all. But next week we head off to Darlington, to cap off the season. What better way to possibly pull off a victory? What do you think your chances are like at Darlington?
I like Darlington. Darlington, just like any place else, is you just got to keep the fenders clean. I mean, you got a little room for error there, and in order to get a Darlington stripe there and still be competitive. But tire saving is going to be key there, and there's something I learned about that track years ago by following somebody that's really good, and really good there, and I learned something by following them. So what we're going to try to put that to to work next week and hopefully bring home the victory for, I guess that would be considered my home court there, being that it's in South Carolina. I mean, it's only probably 3.5 hours from home. So we're going to do our damnedest to get it up there, man. I mean, there ain't no better way to finish off the championship season with a win.
That's exactly right, GT. It'd be fantastic to see, man, and hopefully next week at Darlington we'll see that Ford truck up there competing for that win, man. But I tell you what, each and every week it's there, so I would not be surprised. But man, I tell you what, before we let you go and get ready for tomorrow night in the Cup Series at Talladega for that, that's gonna be a really good race. So we're gonna have to see how that all shakes out for you tomorrow night, man. But before we let you go, who you want to give a shout to for this championship season and great race here for tonight?
I want to thank Michael Sheffield and Sheffield Graphics. Obviously, I mean, I know these are small fields, but we do that so we can put on a fabtabulous race for everybody to watch. And I know sometimes it can get boring when you got somebody like Curtis who just checks out, but certainly thank him for everything he does. The set was awesome. I mean, it was really good. I was shocked when I first got in here at practice, expecting it to get loose and stuff, and it wasn't, man. It just stuck. So definitely thank you boys for coming out. Like to thank RSR League as well for the Tuesday night stuff. Got to thank my teammates, and I got to thank all these other guys for coming out here, man. I mean, it's the people on the track to make it fun. It's one thing if you go out there and if you finish one or P2 or something like that, and you're racing it with a bunch of jerks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just can't talk to and have fun with. I mean, these guys are. I was trying to watch my language. I mean, these guys are all cool, and that they understand the give and take and so forth, and it shows. So, yeah, I appreciate all that right there. But now on tomorrow nights, man, I got to get a podium finish, man. I don't know what's going on with the cup. I was telling my teammates, man, I've got to do something. I mean, we've just had bad luck, man. I thought we were going to be there last week at Richmond, and the yellow flew and caught us. And I really think we had the car to beat there. So Talladega's crapshoot, man. You just got to be in the right lane and miss the mayhem in front of you.
That's exactly right, man. We'll see how that all plays out tomorrow night. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you up there in a podium position, man. I really hope you can get some momentum swung for you back there. Hopefully, you can take some of that championship momentum from tonight and carry it there. But man, we'll catch you tomorrow night, and you have a fantastic night, man.
Therefore, guys, appreciate you guys once again, man.
Hey, thank you very much, GT. You have a great night, man. All right, that was GT Azar, your champion here for 2021 season for the Adrenaline iRacing Truck Series. Congrats to him. What a fantastic way to cap off the season for him. As still got Darlington left, so the season's not over. But he won the championship here tonight is a great scene because he pretty much led from the beginning to the end. I mean, the dude was just downright consistent each and every week. So congrats to him on going back-to-back champions here in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. Here's our Adrenaline Rush Truck Series official results here tonight. Curtis Preston bringing home that victory along with GT Arizari second, Travis Everett third for the slide jobs 1, 2, 3. Brendan B. Senior is going to come home in fourth. Fifth is going to be John Wellett. Sixth, Michael Sheffield. Seventh is Matt Upbrook. Eighth, Chad B. Singer. Ninth, Richard Gonzalez. 10th, Craig Burns. 11th, David Edwards. 12th, Kel Seaman. And that rounds out our field here tonight for our official results for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. I tell you what, it was a fantastic race out there. Curtis Preston, just a driving domination performance. I mean, that is as good as it gets tonight in that 29, and he definitely looked very well out there on the track. But Brandon, you got anything to add to this, man, as we head off to Darlington next week to close out the season here?
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. Spectacular job by Curtis Preston. Dominated so much he had us up here flubbing around and not knowing what was going on. So that's an achievement in itself. And like GT said, Darlington next week. Also, my home track, my favorite track. So anytime I can watch a race there or take part in one, really excited for it. And it's going to put on a show for sure, like it always does.
That it will. Darlington will always put on a show. But don't miss tomorrow night in the Cup Cars at Talladega with the RSR Cup Series and the Adrenaline or the ARCA Evolution Series here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So make sure not to miss that tomorrow night. But we'll send it up to Robert Moore Jr. now, the boss man himself, to close out tonight's broadcast.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching on YouTube and Facebook. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. Like the gentleman said, we will be live tomorrow night, Tuesday night, with ARCA series at 7:20 Eastern, and then we go live at 9:20 for the RSR Cup series. Both are going to be running at Talladega Super Speedway, so we'll see if Hunter Hayward can keep his domination going on in the ARCA cars, and we'll see who can take that checker flag tomorrow night in the RSR Cup series. But until then, we like to say thank you everybody for tuning in. God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
It's plain and simple, dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. My love was never a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away, but I can promise that you'll never be the same. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. You can double down. I'll still be a proud haven for your love is never love. A river through your bluff, I will be enough, enough, enough. My love was never a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away, but I can promise that you'll never be the same. Something you can never take, but it's not uncommon to forsake. Got a chronic urge to complicate. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. Feeling I have nothing left to hide. I'll say, but you know it when it's right. Keep it simple now, living it before I die. Think